Ron, Cedillo, Cogdill, Corbett, Correa, Cox, Denham, Bisanier, DeChaney, Dutton, Flores, Hancock, Harmon, Hollingsworth, Huff, Kehoe, Leno, Liu, Lowenthal, Maldonado, Negrete McLeod, Oropesa, Padilla, Pavley, Price, Romero, Runner, Smidian, Steinberg, Strickland, Walters, Wiggins, Wolk, Wright, Weiland, Yee. Mr. President, we are lacking a quorum.
Call the members. Sergeants, lock the doors and call the members. Present. Would members and our guests beyond the rail and in the gallery please rise? We will be led in prayer this afternoon by our chaplain, Rabbi Mona Alfi, after which please remain standing. We will be led in the Pledge of Allegiance by Senator Alquist.
Good afternoon. The American poet John Burroughs wrote that the lesson which life repeats and constantly enforces is look underfoot. You are always nearer the divine and the true sources of your power than you think. The lure, the distant, and the difficult is deceptive. The great opportunity is where you are. Do not despise your own place and hour. Every place is under the stars. Every place is the center of the world. It is easy to get distracted and look for life's treasures and rewards as something to be found in the far-off future, in another place or as somehow unattainable in the here and now. However, this is not true. In every place and every moment, there's an opportunity to encounter the sacred. May the Holy One of Blessing open our eyes so we may see the daily miracles of life, and open our hearts so we can enjoy them. May this be God's will. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Have a good day.
Thank you. Privileges of the floor. Okay, she's not here yet. Okay, messages from the Assembly will be deemed read. Committee reports will be deemed read and amendments adopted. Motions, resolutions, and notices. Pursuant to Senate Rule 29.10, the following bills are referred to the Rules Committee. Item 29, Bill Number AB 548. Introductions and first reading of bills. Deemed read. Bills are deemed read. Consideration of daily file. Governor's appointments. Item 1. No, that's what I do, right? Item 1. I don't know, say 1, 2, 3.
Correct. I was not paying attention. Let me see if Steinberg has a deputy.
Senator Steinberg, do you have an appointment to bring to us today? Is there an appointment?
Of course I do.
You've got the floor, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. President. I'd like to take up file item 1, which is Peter Lopez. He's a member of the Cal Expo State Fair Board of Directors, and Stephen Roberts from the Board of Pilot Commissioners. Thank you, Mr. President. These two appointees were approved without opposition on the 3rd of February by a 5-0 vote. They're qualified. Ask for an aye vote.
Secretary, call the roll.
Onnested? Aye. Alquist? Aye. Ashburn? Aye. Calderon?
That's before.
Cedillo? Aye. Cogdill? Corbett? Aye. Correa? Aye. Cox? Aye. Denham? DeSaulnier? Aye. Duchesne? Aye. Dutton? Aye. Flores? Hancock? Aye. Harmon? Aye. Hollingsworth? Aye. Huff? Aye. Kehoe? Aye. Leno? Aye. Liu? Aye. Lowenthal? Maldonado? Aye. Negrete McLeod? Aye. Oropesa? Padilla? Pavley? Aye. Price?
Aye.
Aye. Romero? Runner? Aye. Semidian? Aye. Steinberg? Aye. Strickland? Walters? Aye. Wiggins? Wolk? Aye. Wright? Wyland? Aye. Yee? Yee, aye. Flores, aye. Mr. President, ayes 29, no 0.
Ayes 29, no 0. That appointment is confirmed. Mr. President, Mr. Steinberg, any further appointments?
Thank you, Mr. President. Item 2, this is the nomination of Art Carter as a member of the Cal OSHA Appeals Board. And Mr. Carter, who's well known throughout the years here in the Capitol, his nomination was approved on a 5-0 vote. There was no opposition, Mr. Carter. We had a good substantive hearing about concerns regarding how the board operates, and the Senate Labor Committee, under Senator DeSaulnier's leadership, will hold an oversight hearing on the subject of the Cal OSHA Appeals Board on March the 10th. I ask for an aye vote.
Secretary, call the roll.
5-0.
Onnested? Aye. Alquist? Aye. Ashburn? Aye. Calderon? Cedillo? Aye. Cogdill? Corbett? I. Correa. I. Cox. I. Denham. DeSaulnier. I. Ducheney. I. Dutton. I. Flores. I. Hancock. I. Harmon. I. Hollingsworth. I. Huff. I. Kehoe. I. Leno. I. Liu. I. Lowenthal. I. Maldonado. I. Negrete McLeod. I. Oropesa. Padilla. Pavley. I. Price.
Aye.
I. Romero. Runner. I. Semidian. I. Steinberg. I. Strickland. Walters. I. Wiggins. I. Wolk. I. Wright. Wyland. I. Yee. Yee, aye. Calderon, aye. Mr. President, ayes 32, no 0.
Ayes 32, no 0. That appointment is confirmed. Mr. Steinberg, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. This is Terry McDonald as the Chief Deputy Secretary for Adult Operations, the Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. Again, a 5-0 vote. This is a crucial position with the department. Ms. McDonald's a career CDCR employee, and everyone agreed she is well qualified to take on her difficult job. Urge an aye vote.
Thank you, Mr. Steinberg. Any discussion or debate? Seeing none, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Onnested. I. Alquist. I. Ashburn. I. Calderon. I. Cedillo. I. Cogdill. Corbett. I. Correa. I. Cox. I. Denham. DeSaulnier. I. Ducheney. Dutton. I. Flores. I. Hancock. I. Harmon. I. Hollingsworth. I. Huff. I. Kehoe. I. Leno. I. Liu. I. Lowenthal. I. Maldonado. I. Negrete McLeod. I. Oropesa. Padilla. Pavley. I. Price.
Aye.
I. Romero. Runner. I. Semidian. I. Steinberg. I. Strickland. Walters. I. Wiggins. I. Wolk. I. Wright. Wyland. I. Yee. Yee, aye. Ducheney, aye. Mr. President, ayes 32, no 0.
Ayes 32, no 0. That appointment is confirmed. Members, we're going to go back to privileges of the floor, and we'll recognize Senator Kehoe.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. And members, I would just like to call your attention to the flag we're flying today from the United Kingdom on the dais. It is in honor of the distinguished visitor that stands behind me. It is my privilege to introduce to you the Honorable Julian Evans, British Consul General in San Francisco. The Consul General assumed his post in October 2007 after many years of service in the Foreign and Commonwealth Office, as well as post to the United Kingdom's missions in to the United Nations in New York, and as an alternate representative to the United Nations Security Council. Consul General Evans is visiting today to gather interest for a Senate delegation to visit the United Kingdom. There should be ample response there, I think, and interest. He is accompanied by Mr. Robin Newman, Vice Consul, West Coast Head of Politics, Press, and Public Affairs, British Consulate General in San Francisco. Please let's give Consul General Evans a very warm welcome to the California Senate.
Do we invite him to make some remarks or no? Okay. Senator Onnested.
For purposes of introduction, I'd like to introduce a young man who has joined me for this semester in school, who is interning in my district office. George Park III, will you stand up and say hello to everybody here in the Senate? Thank you.
Welcome, Mr. Parks. Members, we're going to now recess the regular session and convene the 8th extraordinary session. The prayer and pledge will be deemed complete. We'll move to consideration of the daily file. Unfinished business. Item 2. Senator Ducheney.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Go ahead.
Yes, please. Madam Mr. Secretary, read the bill.
Senate Bill 4 by the Committee on Budget and Fiscal Review and Act relating to social services.
Thank you very much. Mr. President, members, this is a bill very, 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 very similar to AB 4, which we passed about a week and a half ago. When it went to the Assembly, they held a hearing, and they have made a minor amendment, and therefore it comes back to us for concurrence as an SB, but is essentially identical to AB 4 that we passed 2 weeks ago. The minor change continues the requirement, even with the suspension and the continuation of the 3% reduction, operations reduction. It continues a requirement to have the regional centers report on salaries and certain data. That reporting requirement had gotten caught up in the in suspending the case management to consumer ratio, and so that requirement to report is still there, but it still has the savings. It is still, unfortunately, the ongoing 3% reduction, which we understand is problematic, but nonetheless is one of the, at least continues where they were at during the current budget year. Ask for your aye vote.
Is there any further discussion or debate? Seeing none, Senator, do you care to close?
Thank you very much, members. Again, it's pretty much identical with the minor amendment. I think is perfectly acceptable and does not undermine the savings. Ask for your aye vote.
Secretary, please call the roll.
Onstead? Aye. Alquist? Aye. Ashburn? Aye. Calderon? Aye. Cedillo? Aye. Cogdill? Corbett? Aye. Correa? Cox? Aye. Denham? DeSaulnier? Aye. Ducheney? Aye. Dutton? Aye. Flores? Aye. Hancock? Aye. Harmon? Aye. Hollingsworth? Aye. Huff? Aye. Kehoe? Aye. Leno? Aye. Liu? Aye. Lowenthal? Aye. Maldonado? Aye. Negrete McLeod? Aye. Oropesa? Padilla? Pavley? Price?
Aye.
Aye. Romero? Runner? Aye. Semidian? Steinberg? Strickland? Steinberg, aye. Strickland? Walters? Aye. Wiggins? Aye. Wolk? Aye. Wright? Wyland? Aye. Yee? Yee, no. Semidian, aye. Correa, no. Mr. President, ayes 29, noes 2.
Ayes 29, noes 2. That motion carries. Members will now recess the 8th extraordinary session and reconvene the regular session. Is there any further business in the regular session? Senator Kehoe.
An announcement, Mr. President. The Senate Appropriations Committee will meet immediately in 3191 upon adjournment. For one bill, members. Appropriations immediately upon adjournment.
Thank you. Any further business? Senator Correa.
Mr. President, I'd like to have the senators help me welcome Mr. Robert Gibson, President of the Orange County Employees Association, back to the chambers. Can you just help me welcome him? Thank you very much.
Let's welcome our guest. Is there any further business to come before the regular session? If there's no other business, Senator Steinberg, the desk is clear.
Check in the next 2 days. Tuesday, Wednesday, there will be a Democratic caucus in the Maddie Lounge about noon tomorrow. Session Thursday morning at 9 o'clock a.m. Thank you.
The Senate will recess until 3:30, at which time the adjournment motion will be made. We will reconvene Thursday at 9 a.m. Senate stands in recess.